Kia ora whānau, nau mai, haere mai, ki te whare karakia nui o Paura Tapu. Good evening, friends. Just as we're settling in, I thought I would welcome you on this cold winter's night to our beautiful cathedral. I have to confess to having some mixed emotions this evening as we gather to both celebrate and reluctantly give an early farewell to our excellent sub-organist, Max Toth. Today's concert is a mini showcase of his talent, including an original composition. And the Cathedral whānau will be officially farewelling Max a week tomorrow on Sunday the 2nd, but this evening it would be really great if we gave him a fantastic, rousing send-off and a show of appreciation. Max has been with us for 5 years? 5 years. And you'll be aware, I'm sure, that he's spreading his wings, taking his beautiful bride, Annie, and resettling on the other side of the world to take up the prestigious position of organ scholar at Exeter Cathedral. They're really blessed to have him. It's a wonderful next step in his musical career. And while our cathedral will be significantly quieter without them, we look forward to hearing all of their news and seeing how they're settling into life overseas. I'm going to hand over to the inimitable Michael Stewart, our organist, capital O, and director of music.
Thank you, Katie. I'll just echo those words. It is a sad occasion for us in the music department to be saying goodbye to a much loved and respected friend and colleague. I remember 5 years ago when he started here as our Richard Prothero organ scholar. He has progressed so much in the last 5 years and will now join the ranks of some of our other musical exports. I'm thinking of Catherine Deanish, Nigel Potts, Tom Gaynor, wonderful musicians who will be plying their trade overseas. And so while it is a very sad occasion for us, it is also what this place is for. This is a place to nurture talent and to send it on. And we are extraordinarily proud of Max here at the Cathedral and can't wait to see where his career will take him. Thank you.
Could you just check your mobile phones? I know they might be on silent. Something that might catch you out is your alarm to take your medication, drop off a child somewhere, collect a child from somewhere who will be abandoned to the night because you're here. I think every concert we've had here, someone's mobile phone has gone off, and often the alarm as well. Sometimes even my husband's. So maybe just turn it off. It is old age. I won't tell you how old he is today.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for coming. It's so great to see so many people here and so many of my friends looking back at me. So as you know, I'm off to the UK in about 2 weeks, just over 2 weeks. And this concert, of course, is my farewell concert and a bit of fun. So I have a few pieces to play for you today. A few I'll have quite a lot to say about them, and a few I sort of call palate cleansers between a bit of the harder stuff. So let's get straight into it. First piece today is voluntary by Stanley. I think all of his voluntaries are really great. He's a pretty cool dude. 18th century London organist. He was blind from about the age of 3. And it is known, I suppose you could say he was friends with Handel. Handel would go and listen to him play at his church. And I know once Handel died, it was Stanley who took up the baton of performing the Messiah every Christmas, which is a tradition which stems to today. So yes, here's Stanley's voluntary. Thank you very much. Now, it wouldn't quite be an organ concert without Bach. Typically, I usually refrain from playing Bach in here because it can be quite tricky in the acoustic. But in saying that, this acoustic is suited to so many things that can only be done here. So I'm happy to make a few allowances, like with this Bach. But anyway, since it's my farewell, I'm going to play some for you. This fugue is really cool. The counterpoint is pretty amazing. And this is one of the pieces that I took with me to England, and I played it at all of my auditions at the cathedrals. One interesting thing about this is I still haven't settled on what speed it should be played. And I have a feeling I never will. Sometimes I think it's fast and it's slow. But let me know what you think about this speed. Thank you very much. Now, we're going to go a little back further in time, not by far, to Buxtehude. Now, I must be honest, Buxtehude is a recent discovery of mine. I realised a few months ago I'd never played any of his works, and I thought, right, let's do it. So I flicked through his music at home and found something that caught my eye and gave myself the challenge of learning the piece without listening to any recordings of it beforehand, and that's what this piece is. Now, I suppose one famous story that is attached to Buxtehude and Bach is that when Bach was a 20-year-old, he wanted to go see Buxtehude and learn from him. So he had a church job at the time, and he requested to have, I think, about 3 weeks off so he could go and visit Buxtehude, which was duly granted. So he set off on the 400-kilometre walk to go see Buxtehude. And I guess it was a very successful meeting, and it expanded Bach's knowledge. So he returned back to his job 4 months later, round about 4 months later. And his, the church wasn't too happy, and I think there's it's written somewhere, the church asked, what are you on about? We gave you 3 weeks and you're back 4 months. And Bart replies along the lines of, well, my fill-in, he was fine, wasn't he? He did the job, so what are you complaining about? Supposedly, it seems that Bach went because Buxtehude was looking to retire, and it was sort of who's going to replace this amazing man. And supposedly, as it worked in those days, to get the job, you had to marry your predecessor's daughter. And it seems by this time, Buxtehude's daughter had remained unmarried for quite a while, and no one was accepting this offer. And obviously Bach didn't accept it. And I believe about 2 months before Bach went, Handel was there with his friend George Matheson, and I assume he also turned down the same offer. Anyway, this Buxtehude piece, I think is really cool. That's going to be kind of a running theme. It's things I think are really cool. And what's amazed me about this is his music at times is just so modern. There's almost an essence of minimalism in it. And especially in this piece, there's one particular point in the middle, which to me just sounds straight out of a movie score, It's really fascinating. So here is Buxtehude's Passacaglia in D minor. Thank you. I think that's pretty cool. But now we have come to our first palate cleanser to bring us right into the late 20th century, early 21st. I don't have much to say about this piece, but it's just really beautiful. And it should just kind of bring us out of the Baroque to something a bit more modern. Thank you. Now, to finish off this first bracket, I have a great piece by Denise Bedard, a French-Canadian composer. This was written in 2023, and it's a set of variations on the hymn tune Aurelia, otherwise known as the Church's One Foundation. Now, this is in typical Bedard variation style, so it always starts with kind of a schmaltzy, jazzy sort of reharmonization of the hymn tune, followed by a little bit of a fiddly thing, sort of a duo type Bach invention. Then there's usually a circus waltz or something. This one is a little subdued, but it's still there. And then, like most of his variations, ends in a stomping toccata. So this piece is quite cool. And afterwards, we're just going to have a quick 5-minute break to just wriggle your legs, refresh yourselves for what's coming after the break. Thank you. Thank you. Well, I hope you're refreshed because it's time to talk Messiaen. Now, when you say Messiaen's name to people and they have some idea of his music, you get one of two reactions. You get, oh, this is really cool, it's quite amazing, or you get, what on earth is this? This is hideous, it's just like smashing the keyboard, it's disgusting. And there is genuinely no in between, and I've yet to find someone sitting on the fence about him. You can probably imagine I'm in the he's pretty damn cool side, and I hope to kind of explain why. First, I think Messiaen was just an amazing guy in himself, and he was also crazy, but in all the good ways. So he was an absolute master of his craft, sort of composition, piano, organ, just absolutely brilliant. And so a few things about him. During the Second World War, he was a prisoner of war, and as he was held in a camp, he wrote his famous piece, Quartet for the End of Time, which is pretty worth a listen if you haven't heard it. His music is so weird, because I think he took everything he knew about traditional Western classical music and kind of just went no, and sort of just broke it, to the point that I almost believe it's sort of a new philosophy of even just thinking about how music is created and structured. It's just completely different to what we're usually taught. Another interesting thing about him is he had synesthesia. So when he heard chords, he would see certain colours. And I'm just so jealous of that. And that's why his music, there's a lot of clusters. It's just sort of these colours coming through. Now I have this wonderful quote from Jenny McLeod, because apart from being amazing herself, after she did her undergraduate, she travelled to Paris to go study with Messiaen. I'm so envious of that. But I have this quote about his synesthesia. "It was a whole new world, and I lapped it up. He often relayed to us the inner colours he saw when he heard particular harmonies, and we came to take this as a matter of course, duly writing down blue-violet, red-orange with green, and so on, all over our scores, though we poor blind ones saw not a thing." And I just imagine Messiaen just screaming colours as he's teaching. Now, I should probably get on to the piece itself. But one aspect of Messiaen I should talk about is his faith and his spirituality. He was a devout Catholic all of his life, deeply religious man. And his organ music, I believe, is deeply intertwined with that. You can't have Messiaen's organ music without his faith. They are just so interwoven. And that's where this piece falls in. This is Apparition de l'Église éternelle, or the apparition of the eternal church. And what this piece is, it's a vision of heaven, if we were to condense things. And I like to think of it as the feeling you would have having this vision, rather than the vision itself. And so, basically, you've got this big church, aka heaven, and the bricks and the stones and the mortar are made up with people's souls rather than traditional bricks. And throughout the entire thing, you're just going to hear this sort of repetitive rhythm, bum, 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 and it's unrelenting. It's just this churning, and it's churning of this vision coming through the sky, basically. So, this piece, how I like to think about it in this building, starts off very quietly. So this vision is out of sight, through past the dosel at the end, out of the building. That's where it begins. And as the piece goes, it's just this unrelenting tuning coming, this vision is coming into view, it's getting louder and louder, it enters the building, and it's coming straight for us. And when we get to the climax of the piece, trust me, you'll be able to tell when that is. Here we have the vision, it's here in your face. It's almost a really visceral kind of experience. And then of course, because this thing just doesn't stop for anything, it just slowly glides, it goes through you, through the cathedral, out the back, past the windows, out of view. So I'd like you to think about that as you hear Messiaen's Apparition de l'Église éternelle. Thank you. Thank you very much, and thank you to Matthew for the excellent light show. I hope I might have convinced some of you about Messiaen. It may have been on the fence, although I did say that didn't exist. Now, another, let's call palate cleanser, and a bit of fun. This next piece is called Borage, and it's from Three Brass Cats by Chris Hazel. Now, this is a composition that was originally for brass band, and in my first year of uni, I heard it performed by the brass students, and I instantly thought these will make great organ pieces. So I got the score from the library and made these transcriptions. Like, these are my first arrangements, so they're pretty bad, and they need revisiting. Each of the three cats is based on a stray cat that adopted Chris over his life. So in this set, we have Mr. Jums, Black Sam, and Borage. And it seems that he quite liked cats, because there's also 3 more brass cats, and then there's another set of more cat-themed compositions. And anyway, each one of these compositions is sort of trying to portray the nature of each one of these cats. So this is the last one of the 3, Borage, which is just a bit of fun. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, coming to the end, our next piece is a song of peace by Jean Longley. And as you can see, he was pretty much a contemporary of Messiaen. Like, they lived the exact same length, just I think he was a year before. So what I find interesting is Longley is almost working in a similar harmonic language, but in a far more tonal way. But it still, to me, echoes some of the sentiments of the Messiaen. And I just think this wee piece is absolutely gorgeous. It's just so sweet. So please enjoy. I really love how that piece just kind of feels like it's floating in space. It's really lovely. Now, time for the thing I'm really excited to play. So it's my own composition, and it's a toccata based on the waiata Tu Te Maina Iwi. Now this was born from an improvisation I did here at the cathedral for voluntary, within context, so it was appropriate. And afterwards, I was quite chuffed with it. Every once in a while, you do an improvisation and you'll go, yeah, that was pretty good. And so up in the choir room, one of our choir members said to me, Max, you should write it down. And I thought, I'll do just that. And then another choir member came in who's quite good at sort of putting you straight. And she said to me, Max, it's wrong. I said, what do you mean it's wrong? The tune's wrong. It's all wrong. You did it wrong. I was like, oh my goodness, I had no idea that it's wrong. So I did a bit of Googling and I saw some things on Google about the words being wrong, but not really about the tune. So I went back to Michael and talked about it, and he said, yeah, it's the tune. I've got the score here of the corrected tune if you want it. And there's only some slight differences which you'll hear. So I thought, oh, it was really good, but it's the wrong tune, I can't do it. So that's where I've worked it into the composition. So first you'll hear the tune that we all know and are familiar with, followed by a little bit of stretching and moulding, and then you'll hear the corrected tune twice. So here is my toccata based on Tu Te Maina Iwi. And thank you all very much for coming. It's so great to see you all here. Thanks.